jungler from Mineski back in Season 3 is now back on the roster in that support role to replace, I believe, Noel.
Yeah.
And for the Pacific side, we do see that Jaspy is now the top laner, replacing Nids from last season. And they do have Pacific Skill, the jungler of War Gods last season, to complete their roster.
Right, we were talking earlier about how this might affect Mineski's game because they've only had 1 week to adjust in that bot lane. So this could be pretty dangerous for Mineski, but Kaigu and EXO could surprise us with some good chemistry down at the bot lane. But now we're going to take a look at the bans. That's going to be a Kalista, Ziggs, and Gragas ban for Mineski. And on the side of Pacific, they did ban the Twisted Fate, Evelyn, and Poppy. Poppy always banned.
Yeah, so it's something to point out is that those bans are actually the bans we did Game 2 of the yesterday actually.
Right.
So the Kalista ban is a target ban towards Luxuria. He is a really good Kalista player, and the Ziggs and Gragas, they had a really strong comp with that Ziggs and Gragas earlier today. And let's take a look at the picks. We do see that first pick Sejuani, a really great pick overall. I feel like Sejuani is the most contested pick. If you have an opportunity to first pick that champion, you do first pick it. The ultimate is just so strong in locking people up. And for the Pacific side, we do see that they have locked in the Maokai and the Tristana.
Yeah, Tristana quite interesting. I believe she was buffed slightly in this patch. So.
And that was also played Game 1 of Pacific's game yesterday. Both Maokai and Tristana, they might be going for the same Steam comp that they used last game. We'll see how it goes.
Right, meanwhile, that is Mineski locking in the Sivir and the Fizz. Yume obviously is going to go for one of those Assassin Champions, Fizz, one of his favorite Sivir, also one of his stronger AD carries of this season. We are going to look over at how Pacific response is going to be. Rek'Sai, which is very much a staple pick now, pretty much in every game, and Braum, one of the tankier supports, going to help out Skill, or rather Luxuria.
Yeah, so it does look like they are going for a similar strategy to how they played yesterday against Naga Esports. So they will have that Braum to block the wave clear potential coming in. So this is a siege comp. Expect Oni to go for the Seraph. Like, if I had to make a guess as to what Pacific is going to pick as their last pick, it will probably be a champion with strong poke. However, Seraph might be ideal in the comp. However, they do need to consider that that is a Fizz on the enemy team, and Fizz will make short work of this Seraph. However, it looks like Ari is being hovered over, so that might be a top Fizz. We actually have been seeing that quite a bit in the Philippines.
Yeah, definitely.
JLC definitely one of the stronger Fizz players, and let's see if TG can pick this up.
I was actually wondering, is Fizz top popular only here, or is it used as often in other regions?
It seems to be something really popular just in the Philippines, and I have actually seen TG play Fizz top earlier this week, so I guess he is putting that solo queue into practice.
One of those things up his sleeve he's got ready to show off here. We're going to take a look at the last pick now coming in from Pacific Esports. You see the only role left for them would be the top, would be the mid laner.
Yes.
This could be, like we said, a Seraph. And when this champion is locked in, we just want to remind you guys that we do have the Watch and Win promo. So when this last champion is locked in, do remember to go over to the Pro Gaming Series fan page over on Facebook. A Google document will open up, and you guys will take your guess to see which of these teams will take the win. And then after that, when the Google document, they will only be open for 5 minutes, by the way. So you guys only have 5 minutes to decide which team you will be rooting for. And after the 5 minutes, it will close down. Whichever team wins after this first game, those people who voted for the winning team will be raffled, and 50 people will get the chance to get 150 RP. So do go over to the Pro Gaming Series fan page on Facebook right now. So the team compositions have been locked in. That is going to be a Rise for Oni in that mid lane to fight against Yume's Ari, and you're right, that Fizz is going to go over at that top lane. So general impression about the team composition.
So let's first off talk about the Rise pick. Rise has seen a rework in the past patch, I believe 5.8. He was changed quite a bit, and the general consensus is he hasn't really been that strong of a pick. I believe he's hovering at a 40% win rate in solo queue throughout all the ranks. However, let's see if Oni is able to make good use of this Rise. And just looking at the comps, Pacific is going for the extremely late game scaling comp. You do have that Rise, you do have that Tristana, and you do have that Maokai. Really strong late game picks. However, Mineski last season, they showed to be the king of late game.
Yes, that's true.
Rarely dropping games when it comes to the late game and coming back from really huge deficits, from a 10k gold deficit in the early game. Mineski would be able to come back and just clean it up in that late game. So very risky for Pacific to be doing this. And on the other hand, let's take a look at the Pacific comp. You've got a lot of assassination and a lot of pick potential from this comp. A lot of these champions have 1v1 potential with that Ari and with this Fizz. So this is, I actually feel like Pacific picked into Mineski picked into Pacific's favor, as Pacific has been known for those 5-man group ups and 5-man rotations, making it very difficult to get these picks. However, TG and Yume are both very proficient at what they do in their roles, so let's see if they are capable of getting those picks coming into this game.
Alright, so these teams looking to play at each other's game. We're going to see which of these teams will succeed again. They are live right now at the Pinoy Gaming Festival 2015 Summer Assembly. If you want to catch these teams, battle it out, then do go over to the 4th floor, the Annex event area at SM North EDSA Cyber Zone. So again, this is going to be the first game between Mineski and Pacific Esports. Pacific Esports with 1 win so far against Naga, but Mineski, they don't have a win just yet. We're going to see if they'll be able to get one in this game. So we are going to go into the game in just a bit. Again, do go over to Twitter and follow the Pro Gaming Series at PGS LOL, and do go over again to the Facebook Pro Gaming Series Facebook fan page, and also join the Pro Gaming Series Rift as well. We have a community for you guys. I think we've hit 5,000 plus members at this point.
It's been growing really fast.
It's really fast, yeah. So if you guys want to go over and join our community, just go over to Facebook and search Pro Gaming Series Rift. We've got a lot of games and a lot of content going up there, so do join us over there. Alright, so I believe you are also playing in the 5.9 patch right now.
Yes.
Sadly, we will not be seeing the very much hyped Ash,
Yeah.
who is disabled in this game, so we won't be seeing any action from her. But I believe Victor and Rumble have also returned to the Rift, so we don't have to worry about that.
And I feel like the biggest notable change for this 5.9 patch is the nerfing of the challenging smite Cinderhole combo.
Yeah.
So we do see that TG and Jaspy are both not running that smite.
Yeah.
Usually you'd see Fizz run that smite coming 5.8, however with 5.9 out,
Yeah.
it's
Alright,
not really that
so
strong.
we just want to remind you guys about the watch and win. Again, after every game, during the pick and ban phase, is going to be the last champion locked in. When that last champion is locked in, we open a Google document. I believe it's still open right now. You guys have a few minutes left to go over to the Pro Gaming Series fan page on Facebook. Go over to that Google document and decide which team you are rooting for. Once the documents close, we're going to wait to see which of the teams will win. And if your team that you're rooting for does win, we're going to raffle it out, and 15 of you will get the chance to win 150 RP. So we are also going to have the match and win, I believe, later on. We will discuss the details for that later. And yeah, we're going to go into the game. So, there. Alright, so we're going to be back in a few minutes. We're just going to take this short break. We'll see you again. This is again GS Amplifier.
This is GS Neep.
And we'll just take this short break.
A Grand Skyball on the target. Siya ang primary target. So he is just standing.
Ooh, but a possible dash here.
Hello, and we are back once again. This is Mineski versus Pacific Esports, week 2 of the Pro Gaming Series Summer Split. And let's take a look at the game. So let's introduce the players actually right now. So on the Mineski side, we will be having TG on the Fizz, Kulit on the Sejuani, Yume as the Ari, and EXO and Kaigu with that Sivir and Alistair bot lane.
Alright, meanwhile on the red side, we've got Jaspy in the top lane with the Maokai, Skill with the Rek'Sai in the jungle, Oni in the mid lane with Ryze, Luxuria and Edo in that bot lane with Braum and Tristana. So looking for some early game engages, it seems like, and There are some early wards put in. Braum moving in actually
30
quite
seconds
deep
until minions
into the
spawn.
jungle, but he is going to change his mind. Turn around. They are probably going to start standard lanes here. No lane swaps, it seems. And Kaigu just defending there in that tri-bush.
Yeah, and it looks like Skill will be starting in that top side, looking to put some pressure for that bot lane, as Luxuria is the key member for this team. They really need to get Luxuria ahead in order for Pacific to snowball this victory. So that is why Rek'Sai is in that top lane. Will be clearing those camps, then make his way towards bottom and try to get a gank from that.
Alright, so Pacific again running with 1 win so far. They win this game, they're gonna have 2 wins already. Mineski probably looking to get their first win this game. So we are gonna see, like we said earlier, Pacific is actually playing Mineski at their own game, because Pacific Esports has this late game oriented composition, and Mineski, they are the experts at the late game so far. We've seen them fall behind before, and they have been able to catch up regardless of losing that early game. So let's see if Pacific can defeat Mineski at their own style.
And looking at the Mineski.Globe side, the jungler is starting fairly standard, starting at the Krugs, and will make his way towards that top lane. Perhaps try to get a gank onto Jasper.
Yeah, so looking at this Ryze pick, what do you think about this Ryze pick? Because like we were saying earlier, Ryze is not such a contested pick, especially in that mid lane against Ahri. So how do you think he's going to deal with Ahri, especially since he has that earlier power spike?
Even though the damage has been nerfed actually quite a bit from this new Ryze, he actually does have quite a bit of damage, and if Mineski is not careful with playing against this Ryze, they will get 1v1, they will get 1v2, as the potential for that to happen is there. So Mineski just needs to be really careful about this Ryze pick.
Where do you think the junglers at this point should be focusing their ganks on? Because it seems like the bottom lane and the mid lane of Pacific Esports, it's really snowbally. So where do you think Skill would be focusing his ganks on?
Well, I definitely see Skill perhaps camping that bot lane, trying to get those ganks into snowballing Luxuria, as Luxuria is probably the majority of the damage coming into team fights and coming into that mid and late game. They really need to get Luxuria ahead in order to win this game coming late. And they're getting quite low right there, taking that blue buff.
There you go.
Yep.
So Khalid not gonna die there just yet. Things still looking pretty even. No huge CS deficits just yet. So TG does have a slight lead in that top lane against Maokai. He is pushing up quite a bit, so we might see some ganks from Khalid up there in that top lane.
Meanwhile, Luxuria taking half HP, however he does have that pot available, and it will be a farm lane for pretty much all the lanes. I expect to see some action happening once the first dragon gets attempted. I feel like Pacific might try to go for that early dragon with Rek'Sai soloing it once he gets those items available for him.
Yeah. So Eater just landing some poke there onto EXO. Gonna see how EXO and Kaigu deal with this bottom lane, considering they've only been able to play together for 1 week. So synergy wise, they aren't really that established yet as the bottom lane.
However, so far, it's been looking pretty good so far. They haven't really made too many mistakes. However, it's only been 4 minutes, so time will tell how well this synergy has been holding up, as they have been teammates for quite a while, despite not being in the same bot lane together.
Yeah, we saw Khalid roaming in that mid lane, but he is going to change his mind, turn around. It was looking like they were going to try and pull off a 3-man gank in that mid lane, but he did turn around. Kaigu returns back to his lane. Rek'Sai just gonna recall after taking that Gromp. And meanwhile, the top lane, FB is putting down a ward there. He is pushing up quite a bit, so he's just waiting to see if Khalid will try to land any kind of gank in that top lane.
And we do see that Khalid is actually making his way towards that ball lane. Should be expecting a gank, however, he was spotted by that creep, who went a little bit too far out. And yeah,
Creep scouting out. Just for them.
Yeah, so
looking pretty stale. Skill here might just gank that mid lane. In terms of CS, Ryze actually able to keep up against Ahri there. Ahri hasn't practiced yet, so they really haven't hit their power spikes just yet. TG actually still climbing consistently in CS compared to Maokai there.
yeah.
Ooh, he gets a lot of damage taken there from May. Still has a lot of health and mana left. Meanwhile, Oni suffering in terms of mana and health. So this is level 6 first though.
Yeah, so with these lanes, it's gonna be really hard to actually have some jungle pressure in regards to ganking. If you look at the lanes of the Mineski team, TG is an extremely mobile and slippery champion. That Fizz is really hard to get stick onto, right? With that Playful Trickster and with that Urchin Strike. And in the mid lane, once Yume hits 6, which he already has hidden, it will be really difficult for Skill to actually just stick onto them with that Spirit Rush. He's gonna have to rely on
the snare.
Yeah, the snare coming in from Rise. So the only feasible lane and the best lane for Skill to be ganking right now is in that bot lane.
Yeah.
And he hasn't really had that many visits yet. Just both lanes just farming up. However, EXO has already began to take that CS advantage from the aggressive trading coming in from Kaigu.
Yeah, it's actually a wonder. Usually we see Rek'Sai's ganking at earlier levels. I mean, even level 2 or 3, we see them visiting the lanes, but it seems like Skill still waiting out. Not sure if he's just waiting for the right opportunity or if they just want to farm in their own jungles. We have yet to see any action in there. And there's also there are no signs that either of the teams are looking for Dragon just yet.
Well, the thing is that the Pacific team is actually in no rush to force anything at this point. They have a really strong late game scaling comp. It's just a matter of not making any mistakes, not conceding too many objectives, and giving Mineski too much gold, and Pacific should be able to pull out this win. However, like we said, Mineski is very adept at making this type of playstyle work out for them, so they are aware of what needs to be done in order to break this. However, meanwhile...
Wow, Chi landing an ult onto Jaspi there. Jaspi going to be using his ult as well. Maelstrom up in damage, but he is going to back out there, so quite aggressive. He won't have that ult if there is any fight going to happen at the bottom lane.
Yeah, so just two tanks just having a wet noodle fight in that top lane. Not really exchanging that much damage as Jaspi and TG are both at full health again. And it's really interesting that TG is going for this Triforce right now. If you take a look at his items, he already has that Sheen. Will most likely be going for that Triforce. I'm assuming he's going to get that Triforce, then build into a more tanky position and just focus on assassinating the backline of Pacific. The problem with this is that everyone on Pacific is really tanky, and Luxuria is just so mobile with that rocket jump. So it's going to be really difficult for TG to perform this job right now.
Yeah, the two top laners still battling it out. TG actually going in deeper onto Jaspi, but he is going to back out. Looks like Jaspi may have to recall. He's going to back out as well. Yume and Oni still fighting it out, but Oni is still keeping himself up in CS skill, trying to get his wolves here, but they're actually disturbing them in their own jungle, so they are putting in some vision, probably looking for an early dragon there.
Yeah, definitely they are trying to establish vision control for this dragon to be taken. Both top laners do have their teleports available, so expect to see an explosive team fight coming in, and looks like Mineski will be starting this dragon right now. However, Ito is quite aware of their whereabouts, and looks like they will be rotating towards this dragon. Skill still in the mid lane though, and will probably not be able to respond in time.
He's level 6, he might pop one ult or something, but the dragon is going to go over onto Mineski. Skill going to tunnel through, but the knockup lands onto two members. That's going to be Luxuria jumping out. Ito getting very low. Luxuria trying to do the damage again from the back line. Ito's actually going to survive here. The TP comes in, but first blood goes over onto Luxuria. That's going to be Kaiji backing off now. And we see Oni trying to do what he can, but all of the cooldowns are put onto him, and TP's going to get his own kill as well. Three members forces back, and the dragon goes over to Mineski as well as 2 kills there in exchange for 1.
Yeah, and with that, that puts Mineski at roughly 1,000 gold ahead, and they have secured that blue buff as well with that first dragon. That is actually a really good trade for Mineski. And let's take a look at that fight once again. So we do see here that Kaigu gets the double knockup. Unfortunately, that Sejuani ult does not hit. If that hit, that would have been a sure dead Luxuria and Ito. So Ito does fall actually in this fight. However, Luxuria is able to rocket jump right away, and here comes Yume. Deals lots of damage.
Yeah,
Jaspi did what he could to try to make this fight work out. However, just not enough, and with TG teleporting in the back line.
Ooh,
really
nice
good.
charm there.
Yeah. So I'm really actually impressed by Kaigu's play in that fight. Those really crucial headbutts and those pulverizers
Yeah.
are definitely what made Mineski able to get those 2 kills. And meanwhile, we actually saw that. We'll hold that thought.
Oh my, there's going to be a fight here in the top lane. Jaspy caught out of position. Does that could be the vengeful Maelstrom, but he is getting quite low skill. And Oni though are going to be in here to help him. And TG trying to escape. They might have disregarded the fight, but they started, and that's going to be a kill. Over for Gullet onto Jaspy. Oni landing the snare, and he almost lands that skill shot, but Gullet might just be able to escape here. That's going to be 1 kill onto Jaspy, and Yume actually coming in, but he misses the charm. Still trying to do what he can, but the Brave Seeker does not seek his spray, and that's going to be Pacific Esports backing out.
Yeah, so
only 1 kill.
Even though they conceded that 1 more kill to Mineski.Globe, they were able to make the other players of Pacific survive. And actually, while we were playing that replay, EXO got solo killed by the bot lane of Luxuria and Ito. So here they come again, just putting a little bit of damage down. And
yeah, this is quite a surprise that the bottom lane of Pacific is. I mean, I believe Sivir has an earlier power spike than Tristana does, but doing a pretty good job down there.
Tristana has a really weird power spike in the regards that it's kind of like a bell curve.
Yeah.
Well, not really like a reverse bell curve. At the early levels of the game, Tristana is really strong with that E and with that rocket jump. The damage from those 2 skills actually does a lot of damage relative to that early game. However, once it starts getting to that mid lane, the damage kind of sinks as Tristana becomes more reliant on dealing that sustained DPS, and with that short range it makes it extremely difficult. However, once again, spikes really hard once he reaches that late game with the items, with the max range from the passive, and with that 80% attack speed from that Q.
Alright, so looking at the CS so far, most of the lanes here coming in from Mineski are in the lead. TG getting help from that kill he got earlier. Skill might just pick out Gullet here. But never mind, he's gonna turn around. Actually, might get caught by Yume, but Gullet actually landing. Since you see onto Skill, Skill actually gonna face the both of them. He's gonna have much of an option, and Orbit makes his way back and takes Skill down.
Yeah, so I wasn't really sure what Skill was doing right there. Underestimated the burst potential from that Sejuani and from that Ari. The ultimate from Sejuani was able to knock up Skill, and with that, they gave a kill that they didn't really need to give to Mineski, putting that gold lead a little bit further in Mineski's favor.
Yeah, so that's going to be a slightly more difficult to handle Ari now. He is 1-0-2, has finished at Morellonomicon. Meanwhile, Oni's still trying to build up that tier. And in terms of objectives though, that is still just 1 dragon so far. No towers to be taken just yet. This is a split push from both teams. It's pretty even so far.
Yeah, once we see Pacific get their power spike item, once Rise is able to build that Rod of Ages, once Tristana gets that Infinity Edge, we should expect Pacific to start grouping up, to start pushing a turret. Tristana has insane burst potential on those turrets with that new E. Yeah, so we should see the turrets fall faster.
Oh my, Oni getting caught by the charm, and Yume's gonna go all in, but he gets caught by the snare, and he is gonna be forced to turn around. No kill for him just there, and wow, that was close.
Yeah, so he was able to actually cleanse the healing reduction coming in from Arya, and with that, he was able to, he saved himself with that ultimate, providing the spell vamp, and he was able to heal up right before he dropped down to his death. So Oni's living with a sliver of HP, I believe 50 HP from that fight, and good attempt by Yume, and it looks like Pacific will be going for that bot lane push with skill in that bot lane, and Jaspy does have his teleport readily available.
Yeah, so that is going to be Pacific putting some pressure down at this bottom lane. Dragon is going to come up in about 40 seconds. They might just be trying to establish some sort of positioning and vision here. Although Mineski does have vision around the area, so they will know if a dragon is going to be taken. It is going to expire in just a bit though, so they might want to contest this one. Skill coming in onto EXO and all the cooldowns. That is going to be a kill on the Skill. There are 2 teleports coming in, but both are going to be cancelled because clearly that was in Pacific's favor.
Yeah, that was actually really good communication coming in from both those players. Skill actually waited for the Q from Ito to actually land onto EXO before he popped up, ensuring that that knockup was enough to kill EXO. However, hold that thought and Oni gets the pick.
Yeah, Oni's gonna go down there, and Ito trying to do what he can, but he may have regretted trying to help him anyway. He's gonna flash through that wall, and Dragon's gonna help out for a double kill onto TG, and it looks like this Dragon is all for Mineski now.
Yeah, so I'm not really sure what Oni was trying to do there. He had no wards to place, just went into the enemy jungle without really having an objective in mind. As Dragon was up in 30 seconds, there was no need to be that far extended into that jungle, and as a result, the second Dragon of the game goes to Mineski with another kill in their lane.
Really nice of Dragon to help out Mineski there. So they are going to be taking the first 2 Dragons now, and that's 6-3, 2k gold lead so far for Mineski, and so far the Dragons have been in their favor. Some mistakes rather, coming in from Pacific side so far this game.
Yeah, so it looks like Mineski will be looking to establish map control, putting those D4s in the jungle. They'll start grouping up, probably take that mid lane turret. Mineski Pacific Esports doesn't really have that much wave clear aside from that Oni with that AoE passive. However, it's really situational, and it's not up 24/7, so Mineski can capitalize on this and just simply take a turret without Pacific not being able to respond.
Like, things pretty much going in Mineski's favor, though this was pretty much expected for the first few minutes of the game. Mineski with a slightly faster power spike, and Tristana, as we said, falls off slightly in this mid game, so we will be waiting for her to build up that attack speed and see her power in the late game. But we'll see if Mineski even allows Pacific to reach that late game. If things aren't that far behind just yet, it is only a 2k gold lead, and 1 tower has gone in Pacific's favor in that bottom lane.
Yeah, Maokai is a really big threat coming into this mid game, as just ridiculously tanky. You can't really kill that Maokai with, despite how much damage you put on, you can't really kill him.
Yeah, and TG is still trying here. He is going to put up a little bit of damage, but he actually takes more damage than he wants to. Maelstrom proc there. He's going to have to turn back despite that TSD. Blue buff going to go over to Yume there and Skill trying to scout out, but I think they know that Blue buff's being taken there. Yume, mid lane being pushed here over from Pacific Esports. Baron coming up in a minute and 50 seconds. Seems like they're going to contest this one. It is going to go over to Pacific Esports.
Up that damage from that Tristana, explosive shots, tons of damage to that turret. However, meanwhile, EXO was able to rotate properly and take that bot lane turret, making it so that they didn't lose that trade. And however, mid lane turret is much more valuable, as you control a lot more of the map once you take down mid lane turret. You have complete access of controlling that river, and Yume gets chunked down to half HP.
Mine, they're going to make a flash down here. Kaigu getting very low. Nido might just use ult there, but he's going to change his mind. They walk off a bit too far. Bullet and Fizz are up there. Actually, top lane, it's actually 2v2 up here. We're going to see if there's any clash. Kulit just hiding there in the dry bush, and it seems like he's going to back off.
Yeah, so Mineski just trying to see if he can take any opportunities of getting a pick. However, they aren't really forcing the picks, as they aren't, once again, they aren't in a rush to make those picks happen. And you see Skill shooting Yume out of lane.
So he's, wow, Skill actually using his mobility. He does put down a ward there, and Kaigu coming in, but he is spotted out, so Skill is going to try and back out there. Just a lot of vision around the area. Baron coming up in a few seconds. Jaspy still being chunked with pretty low health there. He's really trying to establish lane dominance up there. He is around 20 CS ahead.
Yeah, despite that Triforce, he's doing no damage to Maokai right now. And however, he is 3-0-1, so Maokai isn't really the target you need to be hitting. And you should see the Fizz pick pay off once it comes into these team fights.
So both of the junglers have gotten their silver ults as well. In terms of CS, Yume still way up against Oni there, so Oni's still trailing behind. He has gotten that Rod of Ages as well. Most of them getting their sweeping lenses, and the top laners keep their greater stealth, or rather, Maokai is the only one actually with the greater stealth, though no upgrade just yet coming in from TT.
Alright, see some action going in that mid lane. Ito trying to get that Q onto Yume, seeing if he can get a pick off. Just doing that trade damage right now, and both teams are actually rotating towards that mid lane. We should see a fight breaking soon. I feel like Mineski is in favor to win these fights right now. EXO does have that Triforce, and Yume does have... EXO does have that Infinity Edge, I apologize. And Yume does have that Strike.
He's gonna come in, and Skill's gonna have to back out, but the ult actually focused onto Skill. He's gonna back out. Ito trying to do what he can, push down the shield, as well as the ult. Now Skill is gonna try and do it again. Ooh, there's the pause in the middle of a team fight. But anyway, TG's in a pretty bad position here.
TG's probably dead. I
So-
feel like they overcommitted to that fight right there, and
Yikes. I'm actually surprised that Kulin decided to use his ult just to focus skill. And everyone's disconnecting. So,
yeah, I believe that
Yeah.
there is a problem,
Yeah,
a technical problem
right now.
in the venue right now.
yeah.
And
And if you're wondering where they are right now, just to remind you guys, they are live at the Pinoy Gaming Festival 2015 Summer Assembly. So if you do want to catch their performance when the game resumes, just go over the 4th floor, the Annex event area, SM North EDSA, Cyber Zone. We just want to remind you, this is Pro Gaming Series 2015 Summer Split. This is week 1, day 2, group stage, brought to you by GameX and Smart Prepaid.
yeah, so coming back to this fight, Mineski definitely needs to back off right now. They are not in a position to win this fight at all.
TG's so sad right now. He's just in the middle of 5 people
Yeah,
and a tower, which is the worst place you can be in pretty much in the game, aside from the fountain.
that feeling when your death is just being
Yeah,
prolonged
he's
by
just
this
waiting.
pause.
The moment they type /resume, he knows what's coming.
Yep.
Does he even have flash? TG has. Oh, he has a
He
flash.
does have flash available.
Maybe he
however-
can like flash.
Actually, he does have his E available
Yeah.
as well, so
he might just escape.
outplay potential is there.
Yeah.
Definitely not out of the question.
Flash, Trickster, TP. I doubt it's gonna work though. So they are all still alive. I'm still wondering why Kulin decided to focus down skill with that, but yeah. So anyway, we're just gonna try and put down the sounds here because they're kind of disturbing us. There you go, so you can hear our beautiful voices just a little bit more. Yeah, I think that's good. Alright. So, 5.9 patch. What do you have to say about that, Neve?
I feel like once again the biggest changes are that new Ash and
Yeah.
the changes to that challenging smite. I don't know. Have you had an opportunity to play that new Ash yet?
No, I have not, but I have seen a lot of videos on. Actually, a lot of the focus is on the whole stacking 4 and then getting that flurry out. It just looks amazing to watch her put out that flurry, and I think it kind of helps her with that late game, considering that it does help building crit.
I
Because she doesn't crit normally anymore.
I feel like, however, the changes didn't really exactly buff Ash. However, they
Yeah.
did make her a lot more fun,
Yeah.
which is pretty good considering what you're trying to achieve in terms of balance.
Yeah,
like,
that's true.
she's in a pretty decent spot right now. However, I feel like the meta doesn't exactly favor
Yeah.
champions such as Ash. Like if you take a look at the viable champions right now, we do have EXO on that Sivir. Sivir is extremely mobile champion with that ultimate AoE mobility, and Tristana once again, not really that meta. However,
Yeah.
does have that rocket jump available. And if you look at the other picks, Lucian, Corki,
Yeah.
Jinx, they all have some form of mobility, while Ash is kind of just sitting there, and that's pretty problematic when you consider just the nature of the champions that are being played right now.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure it's pretty much still Cinderhulk meta,
Yeah.
even if it's been nerfed. So yeah.
Like, you've got top lane champions like Maokai, Gnar, Hecker, which can just get in your face and just mess up the AD carry. You've got Sejuani, Rek'Sai, Gragas.
Yeah.
All of them just have so much ways to just dive onto the AD carry,
Yeah.
which makes Ashe not really that great in this current meta. However, I'm hoping maybe next month, maybe a month or two from now,
Yeah.
Ashe comes into play.
Yeah, I mean, anything that happened, just the fact, I mean, the moment Cinderhulk came out, I mean, before it came out, I never saw tanks coming
Yeah.
into the meta. I mean, we remember the Kazakhs, Lee Sin, everything days, and then Cinderhulk came out, and suddenly we're seeing Sejuani, although Rek'Sai's still here, but Sejuani and Zac making their return, so one day, maybe Ashe will get her spot.
Yeah, and like a month ago, we saw Urgot being played almost every single
Yeah.
game at MSI, and what, a year ago, everyone thought Urgot was trash tier, so
Yeah.
the meta can change quite a bit. It'll be exciting to see.
I mean, just me suggesting to pick Urgot and everyone gets mad at me. So, I'm glad that everything is back to normal now. At least Urgot got his chance for, like, what, a month? Yeah, so we are just waiting for the technical difficulties to be fixed. Meanwhile, again, we just want to remind you guys, Pacific Esports does have only one win against Naga yesterday. They went 1-1 in their best of 2, and Mineski doesn't have a win just yet, so they're looking to get their first win this time in this game.
yeah, so I don't know, maybe I should just talk about my experience with that Naga game, with that game that happened yesterday. It was, we weren't really, I guess we weren't really expecting, Pacific. We underestimated them, and game one we just got obliterated. I believe the score was 11-1 or something like that, and yeah, we only got 1 kill that entire game. However, mad props to Pacific, they played really well. And second game we were able to recover, managed to get the similar type of game, that one-sided game, in our favor. So yeah, Pacific definitely
Looking good.
yeah, looking good.
Yeah.
Like last season they placed 4th, pretty commendable. However, this season they're looking even stronger than they were before. The new additions to their team, Jaspy and as well as Skill, are definitely a huge improvement, and it's seen right there in their gameplay right now and yesterday. Even though they are down, I guess 2,000 gold
Yeah.
right now.
Right now, just right now.
It's all right.
Yeah.
It's a late game team, Tom.
Yeah. So, what do you think has helped Pacific Esports to get slightly stronger in this patch? I mean, I believe there have been some roster changes. You're seeing Skill now, who has replaced their previous jungler.
Yeah, Batum, and
Yeah,
he's
Batum.
on IPT now, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, how do you think what has allowed them to get stronger
I
in the current
I
season?
feel like the meta favors Pacific actually quite a bit right now. If you look at
Yeah.
Skill is actually favorable, really favors those lesser mechanically intensive champions and
Yeah.
more of a control oriented champions like Rek'Sai, Nunu Sejuani. So the meta really favors him. And if you look at Luxuria, Luxuria is just a beast on the meta champions right now with Kalista, with
Yeah.
Graves. Not Graves, Kalista, Lucian, Sivir, stuff like that. So it's just a combination of these things, especially with their coach for Mana. It helped rapidize the improvement that Pacific had and made it so they could adjust their new players into that team much better.
Alright, so Pacific Esports looking slightly stronger. We just want to announce right now that there was apparently what everyone hates at home and during a tournament, a firewall issue, and there's a chance that the game will remake. Sadly, Mineski will have to reset their already 2,000 gold lead. It might happen, so we just want to keep you guys alert there, give you some information. They are experiencing firewall issues, so we're just going to have to wait just a bit. So meanwhile, maybe I should talk about the watch and win details here. So again, we've kind of changed watch and win. If you guys remember, during the spring split, what we would usually do is we give you guys a chance to answer a question at the end of every game. But all of that has been changed. So we just want to remind you guys that now how it works is actually, could we get the could I ask my operator? Could we get the
Watch and win flash.
Yeah, watch and win to be flashed onto the screen. So we just want to show you guys how everything has changed. So we're gonna go over to the screen just a bit, check out the mechanics. So, alright, there it is. So we just want to show you guys how everything works now. Alright, so this promo applies to all summoners watching the PGS 2015 Summer Split. A poll will be posted in the PGS fan page at the start of each game. This poll will only be open for 5 minutes after the drafting stage. So the participants will fill out the following items on the form. So you guys are gonna put the team that you are rooting for. In this case, you would have either placed Mineski or Pacific Esports. And then you're gonna put your Garena, UID, and your in-game name. Then you guys only submit one entry per UID. Then the 15 winners will be selected per game from the pool of entries who voted for the victorious team. So basically, what's gonna happen is you guys just go over to the Facebook Pro Gaming Series fan page, vote for your team, and then if your team wins, you guys will get a chance to win 150 RP, which should be pretty much in time for Echo, who is coming out in just a bit. So do watch out for the watch and win. Again, this happens when the last champion of both teams are locked in. So just in case you guys don't know, that is how the watch and win works this time.
Yeah, and just a reminder that your votes that were made for this game that's been paused will be carried over to the next game if the remake happens. So just want to keep you reminded on that. And shameless plug, always vote Naga for that watch and win promo. No bias, guys.
Yeah, no bias, no. According to Neve. So yeah, just reminding you guys, do join our community platform that is the PGS Rift. Just go over to Facebook and search PGS Rift. That is a community platform right now of the Pro Gaming Series. We've got a lot of things going on there. There are a lot of custom games and a lot of content shared just recently we've been talking about the Philippine esports scene as it is today. There was a lot of debate going on there. I believe Riku was able to see that one. So if you guys want to join up on discussions about anything from patch notes to Echo to art, I believe that's posted a lot on the Rift, then just join our community platform. And also follow us over on Twitter, that's just at PGS_LOL. We do post a lot of behind the scenes and things like that there, as well as updating you guys on the announcements like today, where we have the Pinoy Gaming Festival, the Summer Assembly 2015. Again, if you guys want to catch them live right now, although they're paused right now, but if you guys want to catch them live, just go over to the 4th floor, the Annex event area at SM North Ed's Cyber Zone.
Yeah, and actually the next game of the Pro Gaming series will be there as well, so that is War Gods versus IPT.
Yeah.
So if you're a fan of War Gods or IPT and want to see them live in action, head there.
Yeah. So just go over to SM North EDSA, and yeah. So we are just gonna get back again. Just to remind you guys again, there was a firewall issue at the event area. They are just gonna fix that up. We might have a remake of the game. I'm pretty sure at this point, this has been long. It's probably gonna happen. So again, also those who have signed up for the Watch It Win in the previous game, there will be no more remake of the raffling. So those that voted for the previous game, it will just carry over to the next game. Again, this is the game between Mineski and Pacific with 1 win, and Mineski with no win just yet, looking to get their first win, if ever, in this next game. So I guess we're just going to take a short break for you guys. That's the standing right now. 1 win for Pacific, Naga, and Empire X, as well as Infuse Esports. Acclaim Empire X and Infuse Esports, the newer teams right now of the Pro Gaming Series Summer Split. Looking forward to see how they perform. We're just going to take a short break for you guys. Again, this is GS Amplifier.
And this is GS Neat.
And we'll be right back after this short break.